All right. Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Jerome, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Truly, it really does. I mean, you could be watching any other video right now, but you're watching this one, so it means a lot. Truly, it really does. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about an issue that always pops up every single time I go to an event. It happens to me, it happens to everyone, literally, even you, everyone that this happens to, and it's just it's annoying, right? And I have a solution for it. Basically, it is text, right? It's card text. Very confusing. Yu-Gi-Oh is known for having very vague like meanings and stuff like that, and very confusing text and stuff. So I do have a solution at the end of the video. So basically that's what this is going to be about. So it's going to be a long one, so please bear with me. And yeah, before we get into it, make sure to like the video, guys. When you like the video, the more of you that like it, the more it gets recommended, the more it gets around to everyone else that's into this card game, right? And I'm telling you, the more people that see this, it's gonna help, right? It's gonna help. Maybe Konami will do something about it, maybe not, I don't know, but I think we can all agree that this needs to be fixed in a way to help out the overall game, right? So please like the video, and also subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I do lots of deck profiles that I play, and also I'm going to start doing deck profiles of other people that play in my local areas, interesting decks that they play and stuff like that. I'm working on a really good one, so hopefully I can get that one out by the end of this week. The last one I did was on Bystial Branded, and I also have a combo in there that I'll use a lot of times. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Also, right before I start to getting into everything, if you hear a dog in the background or my daughter in the background, we just got a new puppy, so she's obviously in love with it right now, so I apologize if you can hear that. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So yeah, confusing text. So literally everyone's a victim to this. Every time I go to an event, literally every single time I go, whether it's locals, whether it's a regionals, whether it's win a box, anything like that, these questions are always asked. And even from me, some of these things are very confusing. Recently I just had one on my last video. Actually, I had someone actually bring up a ruling, and I was just like, how did I miss that? Like, I even knew what it was, but then I was just like, what am I doing? Like, why did I don't know, it was weird. But he helped me out, so I appreciate that. It's always good to have somebody to be there to sit there and say, hey, it's not like that, it's like this. And then, you know, you step back and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. So, you know, it's good to help out others, and it's good that other people help me out, stuff like that. So anyways, I'm going to get started on an easy one. So I see this a lot of the times, you know, a very small one, but basically when it comes to cards like Ash Blossom, you know, this one was really big on Master Duel because a lot of people kept messing this up, wondering why they can't activate their Ash Blossom, and stuff like that. So basically when a card has a word like win written on it, right? Win. A lot of times people don't know this, but think of win as it just saying timing, right? Because that's basically what it is. This card, when a card has the text win written on it, that means that whatever is after that has to be happening right then and there, and it can't be anything, right? Anything happening after that. That whatever is happening. So for example, Ash Blossom, when a card is added from the deck to the hand, sent to the graveyard, or yada yada yada, we all know what Ash Blossom does. Any one of these three things that happens that your opponent does, it has to be right then and there. Nothing else can be happening at that given time. If anything else is chain blocking, right? Because a lot of people like to use the term chain blocking. That's basically what's happening. It's when two things happen at once, and you get to say chain link 1, chain link 2. All right. So if there is a chain block that's happening, and let's say the first card has to deal with triggering one of these three things, right? Say if it's adding a card from the deck to the hand, and if they say that's chain link 1 and then chain link 2 is something else, that means you can't do Ash Blossom because of this chain blocking. Now I know for a lot of you people out there, you're like, I already know this, dude. You're telling me something that's already, you know, thing. I already know this. Yeah, but the thing is that like this also goes in with like a bunch of other things. Yes, we all do know how, you know, Ash Blossom works. But there's a lot of other cards out there that have the same thing that says win on it, and people will tend to forget that, and then they will chain it to a card that's activating or doing whatever, and it's just like, you can't do that because it says win. The window of its timing already passed, so you can't do it. So just remember, when you see the word win written on the card, right, that means all the stuff after that, right, when it comes to its effects, the stuff after that win means that it's timing. All right, win is just timing. It's confusing, but that's just the best way to remember it. This is a new one. So the Kashtira cards, a lot of people are getting confused with the Kashtira cards, and I see this every day online, you know, on all the groups that I follow and stuff. This one pops up almost every single day. When I go to events, this one always pops up all the time because it's so confusing. Everyone thinks that its effect right here, when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls and banish it face down. So a lot of people think that this part, right, that this part is chainable, that it's a quick effect. A lot of people think it's a quick effect, and it's not. It doesn't activate. It doesn't chain immediately to a opponent's monster effect that's activating. It doesn't do that at all. It actually activates on a separate chain link, so the very next one. So let's just say, for example, an opponent summons an Aluber, and they say activate Aluber's effect to search for a branded spell card, and you have Kashtira Fenrir or Unicorn or any of the Kashtira monsters like Ogre, any of that stuff, right? They summon it, an Aluber, they activate the effect, and you don't have an interruption for it. Okay, cool. You let them resolve the Aluber. They add the branded card to their hand, and then that's after it resolves and they add the card to the hand. Then that's when you say activate Kashtira Fenrir's effect or Unicorn's effect or Ogre's effect. That is when you activate it. You activate it on a separate chain link, right? You can't activate it to that chain link. You have to activate it on a separate chain link. And a lot of people are confused by it because they think it's a quick effect, but it doesn't say quick effect, so you cannot do it as a quick effect. Next one, enemy controller. No, enemy controller is not the confusing card whatsoever. It's just a very small thing. So a lot of people are confused on when a card is paying for cost or when it's activating. So the easiest way, because this happens every day as well, every day when I go play at an event or even online, I see this question asked all the time. They're like, is this card an effect or is it cost? And I'm like, is there a semicolon? Because this little thing right here, little semicolon, right, and there's another one right here, that is immediately telling you that it is a cost, that it is not an effect, it is a cost. So that means anything before that semicolon, anything before it, right? Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, or tribute one monster, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Anything before that means that it is a cost. You must do that action first, and then you have to ask for a response. And I see this happen time and time again. Someone will activate an effect, or they will activate a card like this, or another one that I see happen all the time and people don't pick this up is Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart's effect. You can target one card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. A lot of people would be like, Kaleido Heart's effect, target that, shuffle it back. Right? They'll just say, you know, shuffle that thing back, and your opponent would be like, okay, you know, and they'll sit there and they'll be like, oh wait, I can chain to that because yes, it's a cost. It's a cost, right? It has the semicolon right there. That's semicolon, meaning that when they target, that's the cost. Meaning that if you can interrupt that, or maybe you can get rid of that target, then guess what? You fixed the problem or whatnot. And I see a lot of people get confused on what's a cost and what's not. Just remember, if there's a semicolon there, that means it's a cost. Okay, it's as simple as that. I know that a big one was branded opening. A lot of people thought that branded opening was a cost, but it's not. It's an actual effect because it doesn't have the semicolon. All right, so it's another one. Now this one's a little bit newer, and a lot of people are confused on this one. but I'm going to explain it as best as I can, from what I can understand. So a lot of people thought that Lava Golem, right, take 1000 damage, and that Mushroom Man, the controller of this monster, takes 300 damage during each of their standby phase. A lot of people thought that that is a maintenance effect, meaning that it doesn't activate, it just does, right? That means it just happens. But no, it is not a maintenance effect. It is an activated effect. Now, what you can compare this to is a card like Imperial Order or a card like Masquerade. Now, the difference between the text is that on both of these cards, they specifically say you must pay. Right? It says you must pay. And then over here on Masquerade, it says your opponent must pay. So the keywords are must pay, right? Must. You must, and your opponent must, right? So that means it is targeting the player, the actual person behind, that's in real life, the actual person. It is targeting that person, saying, hey, you gotta pay. That is a maintenance effect because it's specifically saying you or your opponent. So just remember that if it says you must pay or your opponent must pay, that is a maintenance effect. That means it is not activating. But if it says take 1000 damage or 300 damage during each standby phase, if it says that, and if it doesn't say you or your, must pay, if it doesn't say must pay, that means it is an activated effect. That is honestly like the easiest way to remember. If it says must pay or you or your opponent pays, that means maintenance. If it doesn't say that, that means it's activated. All right. The next one, I have Carrot Red and a recent one that I don't know why I got confused on this, but Chimera. So these three have something in common. Right here it says when your opponent activates a spell, trap, card, or effect, then you can do the rest of it, right? Same thing with Red, but Red says monster effect. Monster effect. And then Chimera says spell, card, or effect. So when you see a card that says spell, trap, card, or effect, right? A lot of people, including myself, because I got confused on Chimera. I don't know why I got confused on Chimera when I played sprites a lot and I knew what Carrot said. It says the same thing. But when you see a card that says spell, trap card, or effect, a lot of people think that the or effect means a monster effect. And I don't know why, but I got confused on Chimera in my last video. I never specifically said that it can activate his effect off of Cartesia, but someone did point out saying that if you did summon it, it wouldn't get his effect. But on Chimera it says spell, card, or effect, right? So a lot of people would think that the or effect means monster effect, and it doesn't. What the or effect means is that basically if the spell or trap card was already face up and it was already activated, but it then therefore activates its effect later on. The best example is, say if you have like a continuous spell face up, like I don't know, like Elden, Curse Elden, right? You can pay 800 life points to search for a spell card. Say if you activated it face up on the field, boom, you activated it. Okay, cool, it went through. Now you're saying, okay, activate effect to pay 800 to search for a card. That's the or effect, because it's already face up, it already been activated, but now you're activating its effect. So that's where the or effect comes into. So when it says spell, trap card, or effect, it's meaning a spell or trap card's effect. And same thing with the Chimera. When it says spell card or effect, it means a spell card or a spell card's effect. All right, it doesn't mean or monster effect. It's confusing, I know. It's pretty stupid, bad choice of words, I think, on Konami's part. Next is a card like Libellion. This one comes up quite often, even though I thought it was common knowledge by now, but it's kind of confusing for some people. Another card is like Cyber Dragon. Is very easy to compare it to because a lot of people know what Cyber Dragon does. Even like the new Kashtira cards, right? So It says cannot be normal summon set, must be special summon. Oh, sorry. Blech. Must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by attributing one level 6 or higher Dark Dragon monster. So that does not activate. A lot of people think that that's an activated effect. It's not. It's when it has a card text like that and it doesn't say you can, or like it doesn't say, sorry, it doesn't have like a colon, right? Instead it just has a period. If it just has a period after its sentence like that, that means it's not activating. That means it can just happen. It doesn't activate. It's just a summoning condition. Like, hey, I have a dark monster on my field. It's level 6. Tribute special summon. I'm not activating. I'm just doing what it's saying. You know. So a lot of people get confused on that. So when you see something like this, just kind of remember it's like Cyber Dragon in a way. Same thing with the Cashiers. It's not activating. It's just, you know, you can just special summon this card from your hand. It's not activating. It's just boop. You know. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, kind of confusing. So another one is let's see here. So I know Pot of Avarice is not confusing, but this one caught me off because at first everyone had a different kind of ruling, but then they realized something. They were like, whoa, it doesn't have the same text as Avarice. And Runic Fountain is also in this as well. So what are we looking at? We're looking at this part right here. So it says target 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 5 into the deck, right? Now this one, it says target 3 Mathematic monsters in your graveyard with different names. Then you can activate one of these effects. And Runic says target 3 Runic quick plays in your graveyard and put them back. So this one I had wrong at one point, but I didn't know that it kind of changed, because at first people were like, oh yeah, this is the ruling, but then they realized that, whoa, there's something different here. So the thing is, say if you activate Pot of Avarice and it says target 5 of those monsters, if you remove one of those monsters that they targeted out, right, if you remove one of them, this card cannot resolve anymore because it says shuffle all 5. It's specifically saying all of them back to the deck. So if it can't shuffle all 5 of them in the deck, doesn't resolve. So this says target the 3 monster graveyard with different effects and then activate one of these. Both of them say special summon them, right? Special summon them. Now, at first we thought that, hey, if you banish one of those targets, they can't special summon any of them back. But then we realized that it says special summon them. It doesn't say special summon all 3. So the key word you're looking for when it's cards like this is all, and then the number right after. So all 5 or all 3. If it says that, that means if you get rid of one of those cards, they cannot get all of those back, right? That means it's done, and it cannot complete the rest of its effect because they're all, you know, one of those are missing, so it can't do it. Same thing over here. Well, not the same thing, but over here the difference is it says them. So if it says them, that means that, hey, if one of those 3 cards are gone, them can mean 2. You know, it's very vague. That means them is 2, or them. Say if it says 5, special summon, like, you know, special summon them back. Well, if one of them gets removed, you still got 4. That's technically them, right? So that means you can get them back. Or say if 2 of them or 3 of them got removed, but you still got 2 of them, that's still them. So you can get 2 of them back. Same thing with Runic Fountain. You target 3 of them. If 1 gets stopped or if 2 gets stopped, hey, you still get the other one because it says, you know, it doesn't say, well, yeah, it says them. Keyword them. Keyword all. So that's the difference. All and them. We already covered Imperial as a maintenance. We covered this, and we covered that. I think the last one here is basically okay. Yeah. So this one ties in with the Cashier, because a lot of people think that this is a trigger effect, that it can happen in the same chain link like a quick effect. And this one is an actual trigger effect, because the difference is that it just says you control would be destroyed by a card effect. So since there's an action happening that specifically is on the card saying it's destroying it, That's why you can actually say, you know, chain this to banish it to protect it or whatever. That's basically the reason why. It's really confusing. I'm pretty sure someone else can explain it better, but that's the best way that I understood it. Very confusing. So, and last but not least is this one. A lot of people get this one mixed, get this one kind of confused as well, and that is a mandatory effect, meaning that it has to happen. Like the player cannot choose whether or not they want to activate it or not. If the condition is met, it has to happen. And the reason why you know that is because it says right here, if this card is synchro summon, colon. All right, so the colon means, right, if this card is synchro summon, colon, that means, hey, it's got to happen, right? Because this card was synchro summon, right? I'm assuming it was. If it was synchro summon, it's got to do this next thing. It's got to increase or decrease that card's level by the tuner or whatever. So a lot of people, I see they will summon something that has like a condition where it's met and it has the colon on it, and they don't activate the effect. So if it's something like that and you see a colon and you see a condition right before that, if you met that condition, you have to do its effect. It's not a debate, or it's not a you can or whatever. Nope, you have to do it. You know, there's no other options. You're gonna have to do it. So remember that. All right. Now I'm pretty sure there is a lot more. Like there's a ridiculous amount of different effects and stuff like that that are very confusing, and I'm going to be going more into very specific cards that are like have rulings that are very weird and stuff like that in a different video. I'm gonna probably do like a different series and stuff like that, where I'm just gonna look at very popular and infamous like card texts that are very confusing. Like again, like the Kashtira one. I know right now that one's a very popular one. A lot of people are confused on it. So I'm going to do videos on that. I'm also going to talk a bit more about like ones that are not as popular as them, but they do come up a lot. Like another one that's really big is like the adventure, Fateful. Yeah, Fateful Adventure. That's another one that a lot of people I still see confused on. But I will be doing separate videos of that. Now, the solution. Now, I think it's a really good solution. Now, I proposed this idea to a couple of my friends. I talked to them about it. The only thing that they can pretty much say bad about this idea is the fact that they would have to remake a lot of the cards. But the thing is that my solution is that they don't have to remake any of the cards. They can just simply just put out you know, online publicly, like on their Twitter, or you know, on the page of Konami, that hey, we made these changes and we're gonna start printing cards like this. Now, the solution I have is, if it is card that can miss timing or that is timing related, they can simply just put either right here next to the to where it says zombie tuner effect. They can simply just include right next to it, because there's a lot of empty space here. They can simply just put timing, right? They could just write, you know, timing, or they can just put it right here in this empty spot and just put timing. So then everyone would know that, hey, this monster or this spell or this trap can miss timing, right? Same thing when it comes to any card that has the cost on it. They can simply just put like, you know, obviously bump this down and then put right there cost, or up here in this empty space, because they got a lot of, you know, like this is all empty. It's just, you know, waste of space. They can just put cost, you know, so then it lets people know, oh, this card has a cost to it. Same thing when it comes to like these cards, right? Instead of putting like activated effect or something like that, they can just put it on instead of putting activated on like these. When it comes to like mandatory effects, like a maintenance effect, they can simply just put on cards like this, or like Imperial Order. They can just write, you know, mandatory, or sorry, no, maintenance. They can just write maintenance, or, you know, or put it here, maintenance, or there, maintenance, to let people know that, hey, it's a maintenance. That means you have to do it, you know. Same thing with Cupid Pitch and stuff like that. You can just put mandatory, or like right before where it says like if this card is synchro summon, you know, colon, and they could put in a parentheses mandatory, so then people know, oh, I have to do this. Like it's you know, it has to be done. You know, when it comes to like sprite carrot and stuff, when it says spell a trap card or effect, they could just say when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or the effect of a spell or trap card, right? So then people would know, oh, it's specifically saying spell and trap card. It's not just saying or effect and then leaving me on a cliffhanger like, does that mean monster effect? You know, it can help out a lot, I think, if they did that. When it comes to like cards like Rebellion, like Cyber Dragon and stuff like that, honestly with these, I think it's just fine, because if you do put like effects or quick effect and stuff like that like written on the other cards, then that means like cards like this should tell you that, oh, it's not like an activated or anything like that, because it doesn't say on the card that it's activated and stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure how you would do these so then people won't be confused on it. So maybe someone else can come up with a good solution about ones when it comes to them and all. But yeah, there's a lot of different things. But there was just like, it was just like a simple idea that I thought of, and I understand that, yeah, that would be, you know, it's kind of late, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, it's not too late to do it, just because, yeah, there's a lot of cards, but why not just start now with just printing it and then putting out like, hey, we're going to start implementing this, so then people would know, hey, these, you know, this and that and the third, so then they won't be confused. And that way they're not sitting there calling a judge over, like saying, is this cost, or is this a mandatory, or hey, this says or effect, does that mean, you know, everything, or hey, is this activated, or is this like a maintenance effect? So it just helps out a lot. That would take out so much problems that a lot of people have. And yeah, and they don't have to just go back and reprint every single card in history that Yu-Gi-Oh's made. They could just start, you know, with the newer stuff, and then if they ever did reprint any of the old stuff, just include written on the new stuff, hey, you know, it's a timing or something like that. I don't know, it's a pretty cool idea. Helps out a lot of people, and you know, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to get that out there. And I know this is a very long video. Holy crap, it's like 27 minutes. I know it's very long. If you made it this far, I highly appreciate it, guys. Truly. So yeah, and I think in the next video, I might do a video on something that's off topic of Yu-Gi-Oh for once. Not sure yet. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe. And if you have any cool ideas that could, you know, maybe help out the community of Yu-Gi-Oh, comment down below. Tell me about them, because I like hearing everyone's solutions. I like hearing other people's ideas and stuff like that. I mean, it's great, you know. I think everyone should voice their opinion, you know, and if we can all come together as a community to be like, hey, this is a good idea, this you know, one guy has a great idea, it works for everybody, you know, maybe Konami will hear it and be like, hey, that's a freaking great idea, let's do that, you know. But anyways, I will see you all in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.